Shukla. I'm a second year medical student. I have with me Shurendra Shukla, age 26 years. Today I'll be performing cranial nerve examination. First, make sure that each nasal passage is patent by compressing one side of the nose and asking the patient to sniff through the other. Then ask the patient to close both eyes, occlude one nostril and test smell in the other with substance. Here I have used Old Monk oil and ask the patient to smell for the odor. Now we test the visual acuity of the patient. Ask the patient to hold the hand card and read from it. It should be 14 inches from the patient. Now using ophthalmoscope, we inspect the optic fundi, paying special attention to the optic disc. Inspect each disc carefully for bulging and blurred margin as in papilledema, pallor as in optic atrophy and cup enlargement as in glaucoma. Now we test the visual field of the patient by confrontation. The visual acuity is commonly poor when there is prechiasmal or anterior defect as is seen in glaucoma, retinal emboli, optic neuritis. Now we check for the near response, which tests pupillary constriction, convergence and accommodation of the lens. Ask the patient to look alternatively at the focus object and the distance behind it. Test the extraocular movement in the 6 cardinal directions of gaze and look for loss of conjugate movement in any of the 6 directions which causes diplopia. While palpating the temporal and masseter muscle in turn, ask the patient to firmly clench the teeth. Note the strength of muscle contraction. Ask the patient to open and move the jaw from side to side. Difficulty clenching the jaw or moving it to the opposite side suggests masseter and lateral pterygoid weakness. Jaw deviation during opening point to weakness on the deviation side. Now we test for the sensory function of the trigeminal nerve. After explaining, test the forehead, cheeks and chin on each side for pain sensation. Isolated sensory loss occur in peripheral nerve disorder including lesions of the trigeminal nerve. Now we test for the corneal reflexes. Ask the patient to look up and away from you and approach from the opposite side out of the patient line of vision. Avoiding the eyelashes, lightly touch the cornea with a fine wisp of cotton. Inspect for blinking of both eyes, the normal reaction to the stimulus. Blinking is absent in both eyes in cranial nerve 5 lesions. Inspect the face both at rest and during conversation with the patient. Note any asymmetry often visible in the nasolabial fold. A peripheral injury to cranial nerve 7 in Bell palsy affects both the upper and the lower face. Ask the patient to raise both eyebrows, frown, close both eyes tightly so that you cannot open them. Test muscular strain by trying to open them. Show both upper and lower teeth. Smile. Puff out both cheeks. Assess hearing with the whispered voice test. Ask the patient to repeat numbers whispered into one ear while blocking or rubbing your finger next to the contralateral ear. The whispered voice test is both sensitive and specific when assessing presence or absence of hearing. If hearing loss is present, determine if the loss is conductive from impaired air through ear transmission or sensory neural from damage to the cochlear branch of cranial nerve 8. Test for air and bone conduction using the Rene test and lateralization using the Weber test. Listen to the patient voice, its hoarseness or it have a nasal quality. Ask if there is difficulty in swallowing. Ask the patient to say ah or yawn as you watch the movement of the soft palate and pharynx. The soft palate normally rises symmetrically, the uvula remains in the midline, and each side of the posterior pharynx moves medially like a curtain. We will test for the motor function of the spinal accessory nerve. Standing behind the patient, look for atrophy or fasciculation in the trapezius muscle and compare one side with the other. Trapezius weakness with atrophy and fasciculation point to a peripheral nerve disorder. Ask the patient to shrug both shoulders upward against your hand. Note the strength and contraction of the trapezie. In trapezius muscle paralysis, the shoulder drops and the scapula is displaced downward and laterally. Ask the patient to turn his or her head to each side against your hand. Observe the contraction of the opposite sternocleidomastoid muscle and note the force of the movement against your hand. Inspect the patient's tongue as it lies on the floor of the mouth. Look for any atrophy or fasciculation. Tongue atrophy and fasciculation are present in amyotrophic lateral sclerosis and past polio. Ask the patient to move the tongue from side to side and note the symmetry of the movement. Ask the patient to push the tongue against the inside of cheek in turn as you palpate externally for strength.